I'm Alex Hillman, and I register domains when I drink. The worst thing that ever happened to me was discovering that GoDaddy had a mobile interface, and then it was linked to my PayPal account, and then I wake up in the morning with domains sitting in my inbox. And I think one of the worst that I bought, I guess it's not the worst, but one that is memorable for me was we were sitting at the bar complaining about T-Mobile, which many people do, and I was blown away by the fact that T-Mobilize might be available for like a community of people that hated T-Mobile to get together. As it turns out, the domain I bought was misspelled. it was I think it was an E or an I that was out of whack, but the one that I actually would have wanted certainly wasn't available. So yeah, misspelled drunk domains is definitely a big problem. Watch out for.
Actually, my favorite domain name that I actually own that I registered while I was drunk. I registered after South by Southwest 2008. Group of friends all go out to dinner together on the last night of South by Southwest. Our good pal Kevin Schmokler hosts the Create Cookies with Kevin dinner, and it always amounts to the tables of 10. And I always manage to get seated with 10 of the more creative people that I know and several bottles of wine. And last year we made a list of, I want to say, between 15 and 20 of the worst possible domain names that you could register. We didn't like make any determination of what you would build when you had registered the domain name. It was just, you know, if you were giving out the domain name to someone over the telephone, for example, I was going to say my email address is Brad at something. What would be the most embarrassing thing that you could do? One of my favorite was one of us came up with pastywhitemanwhore.com. We did anaphylacticjock.com. And the one that I wound up registering because I think there's a viable business model, went back to my hotel room, logged on to my domain registrar of choice, and registered aspiringcougar.com, which we're going to build into a social networking site for women who want to be cougars. It will use geolocation features to tell you where, for example, you can buy leopard print capri pants, and there will be an associated iPhone application, again using GPS to tell you, no matter where you are in the world, where is the nearest Applebee's, so you can pick up young men over drinks. Along with that, because it would be creepy for, like, you know, aspiringpredator.com for the male version of that, I've also registered sustainablesugardaddy.com, which in these uncertain economic times of crisis and universal brouhaha, people don't stop to think about the number of older men whose portfolios have been reduced, and so we intend to offer tips for them in times of economic downturn, ways that they can still maintain their thrall over young women affordably. And those are the two domain names that I have registered drunkenly.
Stone Cold Sober, I registered buckalikefunnies.com, .net, and .org. And they only ran out a short while ago.
I'm embarrassed, but late one night I was being nostalgic, which tends to happen to me, and I was watching a lot of old videos on YouTube, and one of them is Shadows of the Night by Pat Benatar, one of my absolute favorite videos. It has a weird Nazi spy theme, and Pat Benatar sings the third verse in the cockpit of an airplane with a microphone. It's really, really not very good. Strangely enough, it was one of Bill Paxton's early. Bill Paxton and Judge Reinhold are both in this video as Nazi airmen of some variety or another. But I felt after seeing this and listening to it a dozen times, I wanted to celebrate it in somehow. So I don't know why, but I went to some domain register and saw that someone already had Shadows of the Night. It was probably an erotic vampire fiction site or something. So, of course, I'm not being content with that. I think they already had .net and .org. I believe I registered We're Running with the Shadows of the Night, or Shadows of the Night ! Or something. I don't even remember, but there is some permutation of the first line of the chorus of Pat Benatar's Shadows of the Night, rendered as a domain name that belongs to me.
I'm Scott. Jeff. And we've actually owned a domain for about 3 or 4 years now called hotdogdingdongbingbong.com. And we've had a couple plans for it. We've actually been working on a beta for the site for about 2 or 3 of those years. Right now it's a static image of a hot dog. Yeah, but it's going to grow bigger, and you should probably, I don't know if we would give it away, but you tell. I don't know, my NDA prevents me from actually describing what we have in store. Yeah, but essentially it's going to be it's something completely never been done before. I think it'll be a good idea for a basis for our company, which will eventually become Idiocy Consultants. It's more of it's an enthusiasm site. It's and essentially what it's going to do is it's going to encourage people to chant along. This is the sort of the mantra of it. And it basically starts off with, "Give me an H. Give me an O. Give me a T. Give me a D. Give me an O. Give me a G. Give me a T." See, it's still in beta, obviously.
Well, since I don't drink, this is a South by Southwest lunch exuberance registering instead of a drunk registering. But we were all out to lunch. We went to 1 in a Million. It was fantastic. The chorizo was really spicy. And so we were talking about all the side effects of very spicy chorizo. And one of them was seared rectum. And so it got me thinking, I'm like, oh, that would be a great domain name. But seared rectum's kind of hard to spell and kind of long. So I was like, well, what else? Fiery taint. Yes, that's the best thing ever. Oh, that's so funny. We could make it all about really spicy recipes and all this stuff. And I had all these great ideas for it. And I went and registered it. And I even have a logo for it. I got Cindy Lee to make for me in the airport. It's an exclamation point on fire. And of course, never did anything with it. It's still sitting there in my registration list on DreamHost, and I'll probably never do anything with it, but I own FieryTaint.org.
Oh, so yeah, the craziest domain I've ever registered, and it was in a fit of drunken happiness, was manpudding.com. We had this long discussion about random things, and that phrase came up, and I thought, I wonder if this take it. And it wasn't, so I wanted it. So I own manpudding.com, and no, I'm not doing anything with it right now.